It seemed to me that once it had us all three in the same place, it got louder. Maybe I just concentrated harder. I don't know, but it seemed to get closer and louder. And finally, Bobby stood up and said, "Well, shit, let's just go see what it is." The long and short of it was that we walked for over 2 hours. We didn't find anything. It was a little before noon when we decided to call it off. There was nobody in those woods but us. We knew that. Nobody we could see anyway. We could still hear the voice, but it seemed to get fainter when we turned toward the road. And when we got within sight of my truck, we couldn't hear it at all. We racked the guns and stood around in the road. I had 3 hot beers in the back end. We started drinking those, and Jim said he thought we ought to call the civil defense in and let them worry about it. I didn't say anything. Bobby was like me. He thought like I did. We didn't want to look like fools, but I'd seen something like this once before in Alabama when I was 5 years old. My mother knew of it, and my older brother. No one else, not even Mary Annie. I thought about it when Bobby said that maybe it wasn't something that anybody would be able to find. Jim's face gave a little funny jerk when he said that. He sells insurance for a living and deals with the reality of life and death, the cash value of a person's demise, and he laughed. "You crazy, Bobby," he said. "You know that you are crazy." I wouldn't have wanted to have told Bobby that. I saw him put a guy through a plate glass window in a bar uptown years ago. He almost went to the pen over it. No, I wouldn't have said that. "It ain't no need in calling out the civil defense," Bobby repeated. "They wouldn't find nothing." Jim's face twitched like he wanted to say something else, but he didn't, and we left it at that. The phone ringing lifted me out of my thoughts one night. It was between seasons. It was a Friday night, and Alvin was off with some girl who had just gotten her driver's license, and Carla was up in her room with her mother, talking out something she'd already been told about and had been expecting, and that had finally happened. Mary Annie was just glad it had happened at home instead of at school, or when she was off with some of her friends at the pool. I took it as a sign to go into the den and mix myself a good drink, not even pay attention to the television, just marvel at the way a baby girl grows into a woman in 12 short years. So I left them alone. I wasn't empty so much as lonely and feeling old. I was glad to hear Bobby on the line.